Moving on to the next piece, higher education. What are the perks of higher education in the US? Um, the first and foremost piece that I believe is very important for higher education is the piece wherein you have to do everything by yourself. So you don't get assignments from people. You don't get a lot of other things. So it's all about practical learning. It's not about reading one paragraph by hearting it and vomiting it in the final paper. It's more of practical development, and they ask you to right, like for example um, a coding subject. It's not gonna ask you like these are the 10 programs, learn it, and you'll be asked one of them. They'll teach you these 10 programs, and they'll ask you something out of no connection. They'll ask you something else to develop. What they're trying to implement or trying to see is how you use your current knowledge, apply your brains, and put it to paper or put it to computer. The next is opportunities in the US, job openings for freshers and quality of life. So job openings for freshers, I have come here after 2 years of experience, but a lot of my batchmates and a lot of people who studied with me were directly from their undergrad. So I think that's more of a personal choice whether you want to go right after your engineering, or do you want to get some experience and then figure out what you want to do and then apply later, which is what I did. So being part of EXTC, I had no big understanding of what is data science. When I was part of Credit Suisse, I understood data analysis. I was part of the biggest data engineering teams within Credit Suisse. So I got that exposure. I got that understanding that what kind of data people are, the banks are holding, and the potential of what can be done with it. So I realized 1 year later that that's the data science team is something that I want to be a part of. And for that, I needed more education. It was not coming out of just my undergrad. And that's when I decided to come. But again, there are people who are studying in electronics and EXTC who have a firm determination. They want to get into VLSI design, they want to get into cybersecurity, networking, or IT computers. If you're sure, if you want to learn more, I would definitely recommend doing your master's, not just in the US, but consider other countries like Germany, Australia, Canada, because of a lot of current new changes and the COVID life. So I would say make a very wise decision and be very thoughtful of whatever you're deciding. Quality of
So,
life is definitely slightly better in the terms of the air you breathe, the food that you eat, but only if you're a good cook. Um, you miss your family for sure, but you need to make sure that that's something that's underlined when you decide to fill a form for any college outside India. It has to, that's the underlined and bold statement. Like for example, in this pandemic, not people can go from US to India and meet their family, right? So that's like a con or the downside of it. But it's more, again, comes back to more of a personal choice whether you want it or not. Abhishek, you're saying something?
no, you can move on to the next question. So, what exactly does a consultant at EY do, and what is your role out there?
So that's a good question. What So consultants are basically, contractors. Some, like for example, let's say you have a family business or you have something that your company is doing, and you want to get it done by experts. You want to get it done by people who have done it before. Like for example, changing your let's say payment systems for a bank, or analyzing data, building data science models. If you don't have 100 of people in the data science team and you want to leverage the data science technologies used around the world, if you want to do something of that sort and you don't have the potential or the time or the money to do it, then you hire contractors. Contractors, consultants, it's just different words, but consultants is basically I'm consulting different companies in doing something I'm already good at. So at EY, what a consultant does, like especially in the domain that I am working in. So I am in the financial services domain, which means I work with different financial institutions. So by financial institution, it's not necessarily a bank. It is any company's financial division is also a financial institution. For example, Amazon, Flipkart. You are making those payments. Those payments have to be, the products that you're buying and the money that you're paying. All of that is finance. The website piece of it is technology, is software development, improving and getting that data is software. But data science is something, when you go on Netflix, you switch on a particular TV series, you get recommendations, you get the percentage matches and those things. Same on Amazon Prime. So these are the data science things that, are bringing companies far ahead of what they're currently doing. So not all of these companies have a data science team dedicated to do all that. There are definitely dedicated data science teams, but the amount of work for a data scientist is too much, and the possibility of it working is fractional. So what they do is they hire contractors, consultants, and they ask them to do something that they really need. So, for example, if we have done or developed an application wherein, seeing past history, your model is predicting, let's say you input an X variable and you get a Y variable. So, if that's something that we did with one of the banks, we can use the same thing and do the same piece for the other bank in a different format, because obviously the systems will be different, the data will be different, but we have already done it. And now if the bank doesn't want to stay far behind, or any financial institution, they want their system to use that particular thing right immediately. Not immediately, but I would say in the next few months, few weeks, and not wait for years to develop. So in order to cope up with your competitors, people hire consultants who have already done or know the job that they need. So the good piece of consultants, hiring consultants for different companies include, they don't have to fire people after the project is over, because that's the contract. We come for 1 year, we work for 1 year, or maybe 2 months, or maybe 3 years. We work for a particular period, we deliver something that we promised, and we leave. After that, we have nothing to do with the company. So company doesn't have to face, do layoffs and those kind of things. They don't owe us bonuses and those kind of things. So these are the common norms why people or companies hire consultants, and consultants basically does something that they have already done before, or they are good with some technology. So for example, I work in the data science and data analysis domain. So I build dashboards, I build data science models. So I've worked with like one or two of the major US banks, and also past experience from credit suisse. I've worked with a lot of finance data. I know what are the intricacies, what are the important details that one can miss if they're new to the data science team or the finance domain. So since I'm used to all these terms, I am hired as a consultant to do not exactly the same thing, but use the same data to do something different. So it can be a part of that as well.